initially I started, I think Marie started talking to me about, I was coming up to 50 and what was I doing about the rest of my life, financially, and I didn't have any plans. And I probably still don't, but what I got out of the whole book exercise was Marie set me this thing of, she said, why don't you look at how much you can save as opposed to how much you spend? And out of that little exercise, I spent the next 12 to 18 months recording every single cent that I spent, and I was gobsmacked at where my money was going. And then I started to look at where I could save money, which led into I was renewing my insurance, and so instead of just automatically renewing, I looked at different options of how to do that, and companies or health funds. What I did was I looked at my health fund and said, well, what can you offer me in terms of insurance? And I saved something like $700 for the year on my insurance.
Really?
Yeah, and then out of the exercise of looking where I spent my money, I realised that I was an emotional spender. So any little upset, I would go out and buy a pair of shoes. Often I would not wear the shoes.
Malda, not Malda.
That's right.
Yeah.
I would often not wear the shoes. In fact, I'm about to sell some that I've never worn in 12 months. But it's just made me really conscious of where my money goes. And I find myself now going out and I'll browse and I'll window shop, but I actually have no compulsion to buy, which for me is an amazingly new experience. I can't tell you what that's like. I'm like, oh my God, I don't even want to buy a pair of shoes. That's crazy for me. And I've just altered the way I do things, where I spend my money. And I think I had in the back of my mind that making money work for me was like investing and buying shares. And that actually doesn't work well for me. But what I've been doing is finding ways of saving money. So now I'm selling on Gumtree instead of just giving things away. I'm buying on Gumtree. I'm going to op shops and finding fantastic bargains. $10 shoes that are worth about $150.
Yeah,
just whole outfit, under $100.
Yeah.
And it's become, I've created as fun and exciting, and it's just been a lot of fun, really.
What was significant about reaching 50 and deciding this?
It was more the leading up to 50, and I was looking at where my life was at and where I was at financially, and Marie's conversation really was quite confronting. And I think in the back of my mind I've always had something going on about somebody's going to come along and take care of me, and Marie had me realise that what if that never happens? What am I doing about it?
Still can, of course, and I'm sure it will, but you're right. What if it doesn't? 60 is only 10 years away and 70 is 20 years away, and the government's not going to look after you. They're not going to feel sorry for you because you work hard for the country for 40 years. They're not going to take care of you.
No,
You've got to take care of yourself.
And I also, in the back of my head, I had, my mother has been left quite well off and I will get, the inheritance. But she could live for another 20 years. And where does that leave me? So in the back of my mind, I was always relying on someone else, providing. And now my experience around money is it just flows in instead of constantly flowing out. It's quite ridiculous, really.
Well done. That's why you're in the book. Good story.
Yeah, it's great fun. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nick.